How's it going, everybody? This will be the Session 17 D&D Death Tier list. A very important and dear thing. I have to commemorate every single TPK we have, and with me is one of our most talented writers and our note taker within the party. It is Wei.
Oh, hey.
So let's start off the tier list with looks like we have Damwayne here on the bottom left. Now, Damwayne, we're actually starting very strong here in terms of tier list. If he died going for the important bits of the dragon, if anyone wasn't there, he's a wizard for anyone who doesn't know, and wizards are very spellcasty. He always focuses on mental. I believe he was a specialized in illusionary magic. Was he? So he always wanted to do things like break your mind, slow you down, reduce your rolls and stuff like that. But this Chad, this Chad is God. He tried to go in and make his last attack against a dragon. That hit, by the way, that had an AC of 20. So this guy has like no modifiers to his melee attack. He hit him with a long staff, or like a quarter staff, sorry, and did like a D8 of damage to him as his final breath before he died. So I'm thinking S tier or A tier. What do you think, Way?
S tier for sure. He's the only member of the party that actually faced the dragon solo.
You're right.
A very courageous move by Damwayne.
He went in solo. That's such an important matter. He was the last to die. That was a pretty courageous effort by Damwayne. So far we got the S tier on lockdown by our illusion mage, played by Stormrunner. Next up we got Rush. Now Rush is actually a one-shot character that was from my IRL D&D session not too long ago, and he wanted to play bring it to my real campaign, which really sorry for instantly killing him off, Kelton. My condolences. He's gone now. But let's think about his death. He's a bard, and as his last action before he died, he gave a bardic inspiration before his bones turned to dust and ash, being from a breath attack. What do you think that lies?
I would say it's at least A tier. He managed to roll a nat 20 with that death save, which was actually like bad for him.
He rolled a nat 1, in truth.
You had them reversed because he was undead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we may have reversed the death save since he was undead, so that we made it so that if you rolled a nat 20, you actually rolled a nat 1 for your death save, so you got 2 death failures immediately. I think you already had 1 death failure, right? And that just finished the deal, right?
Yeah, and he was also only one of the 2 members of the party that like stood back up after going down,
Yeah, those necrotic fireballs really did well. So I think I agree with A tier here. He had a heroic. He gave that bardic inspiration heroically before he died, and he got back up. He did pretty good damage if I remember correctly. And bards are always a good support character. And during the session overall, he was very nice, giving Song of Rest and stuff like that. Next up is our resident fighter that looks like a stormtrooper. It's Mr. Wade. That was an interesting fight. He used his action surge and indomitable abilities really early, but how would we go down? I believe he had a very fiery death, but it wasn't from a fire breath, right?
No. So actually, the dragon chose to use his special ability against Wade to deal the final blow.
Yeah, the one where he has to like go inside of a space token, and they had the same space, and which he practically imploded Wade, right?
Yeah. So the dragon obviously thought he was like the main threat on the field.
Yeah, fighters are scary. Is that a B or C? Maybe B, I'd say.
At least B tier, maybe. I don't know, maybe A tier, because he did hold the dragon's attention for the longest amount of turns during the fight.
A tier or B tier? We can change it after, but I think let's put a B for now so we have something in the tier.
All right.
And here comes the resident rogue. Mr. Rogue. Rogues have a history in my games for being unkillable until now. And even if you played in I'm sure if you played Baldur's Gate and all that things, like killing a rogue is hard. It takes you essentially the rest of the entire party has to be dead to get to a rogue with all that sneak skill and stuff. Luckily, the dragon did have a perception skill, and I'm so happy that I had it in the book. A passive perception of 20. So
Yeah,
pretty high even for a rogue, but I mean rogues you saw that. So he rolled like 28 on average for his stealth rolls.
and actually, it's kind of funny. He got one shot by the breath attack in spite of being a rogue
Yeah,
for the
but
deck
he got
saves.
back up. He got back up and did some good
He
damage.
did. He was the other character who actually decided to get back up and start fighting the dragon again.
Oh, yeah, he got helped up. Wade got him up using the help action on his action surge, if I remember correctly, which is a very clutch play, using an action surge in such a defensive manner. But that shows how well-rounded fighters are. But in terms of his death, what tier does he go? Because I think he just got melee to death, right? Nothing too special.
Yeah, the dragon just it flew over to him and bit him.
He just got mauled to death. So definitely lower than B. So C at the
And
very highest, right?
yeah, I would say C is kind of our baseline face the boss in honorable melee combat when dying.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Poor Wyatt. You know the rogue turns out died in a very did a lot of damage. Like Jesus Christ, rogues do so much damage. Like when everybody else was down, he was just pumping out consistent, kept on steady aiming and doing so much damage. But that's what rogues do, right? They just never run out of resources. Oh, here's your character coming up. Oh, poor Zenthos. Okay, Zenthos did so much damage though. That summon and those necrotic fireballs were almost clutch. But
They were pretty nice.
his death though, just a little bit of fire turned to
I'd
dust.
say it's a low C tier because like he died kind of taking cover.
You were
Yeah,
prone the entire time. You're just like
he went
hiding.
voluntarily prone.
You're hitting the ground and you got hit by a second fire breath. Like jeez, those fire breaths hurt. It was the same one that took out
That took out Rush.
yeah, it
Yeah,
took out Rush. Poor guy.
but
Man,
I would say like the amount of damage he did. He also revived a character, kind of saves him from being in D tier.
yeah, you're right. You know, Zenthos did his job. I think that's a solid C tier. Although died in a burst of flame. He's probably the most party damage in that fight. I want to say so, and died a good, nice, fiery death. And here, oh, poor Bob, poor poor Bob. He's definitely down here. He died at the beginning because he's a wizard.
Yeah,
Poor
he did get
wizards.
one shot. Unfortunately, he didn't have, or Seer didn't have absorb elements.
Oh, that's something you really did use often. He did
Yeah,
not have that. You're right. So he got one shot at the very beginning of the encounter, lost all his undead summons, which that's what he specializes in. And poor Bob playing him, man. That's he, that's got to be F tier, right? F
yeah,
tier.
just one shot before they even get to move.
That's the wizard's life for you. Even though we have two other wizards, you know, interesting that we look how diverse the wizard tier is. We have one in S, C, and F. That's wizards for you, buddy. And we have some honorable mentions from people that died before this session. So Anchor died to a finger of death, and he was a very beloved member of the party. And I believe he going down trying to protect the party. Oh, if I remember correctly, he also split up. He did the sin of D&D. He split the
Yeah,
party.
he split up with Tarvin.
Yeah, and that's how you get two dead characters. Hey, who's that over there? But Finger of Death is a pretty metal death. You know, it's like that's a way to go. That's like cinematic as
It
hell.
is.
You know, am I thinking B tier? I think B tier's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So anyway, so Grolar, talking about Grolar, he's off screen currently, so he's just going to go in the off screen tier. We don't know what's going to happen to him, and we don't know what's going to happen to the campaign from now on, but he's still out there somewhere in the wilderness, and I don't know who you are. There's a question mark here. Maybe there's a barbarian. Maybe he was played by Jacob. Not sure. But then we have the first death in the game. So you weren't here for this way, right? But this is the scripted death that Camden played, which was the player of Sir Gallius. What was his name? Yeah, the Knight Gallius. So that this
Oh,
is what?
Octavian, right?
Yeah, this is the character's name is Octavius, but the player that played this, his name was Camden, and the player he's currently playing in the campaign was Sir Galahad. That's his name.
All right, with the horse, El
With
Senor.
El Senor. So this was a scripted death. It was to make the party to have a little bit urgency and maybe have some sort of and have like maybe a background information or more maybe some their own what's it called, their own motives, so to give some motivation to the party to get into the campaign. Happened the very first session, so it wasn't too special. He died to a chaos spawn, I believe. He got slapped a few times and then he died. I think over here with the I don't know tier. Now Tarvin's death was pretty spectacular. Like he's definitely not off screen. Get back there. Okay, he's just gonna stay there. But where do we put? So for you guys who don't remember, Tarvin, played by Jacob, who always plays a dark elf, by the way. He died from. First of all, he tried to fight. He split the party with Anchor, and then in his last effort, drank like what 10 surprise me potions, which makes you have a roll on the wild magic table.
Yes. And I remember some of the effects. One was that he soiled himself. Another was that he started telling jokes.
Yeah.
I don't remember other than that, unfortunately.
Oh man, the joke. And if I remember correctly, there was one where he stole the life from everybody around him and healed himself a little bit, but it hurt all of his teammates too.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
But I think that was really funny, and I think funny deserves an A tier. Like that was just a funny death, one that he deserved. And so far, that's our tier list. Where do we want to move anyone everywhere? Let's see here. Rush, Anchor. I think Anchor could move up to A, possibly. Yeah, I think Wyatt and Zentho stayed there. Whoever you are that died, we don't know who you are. Barbarians, Octavius, scripted death. Man, the wizards. Yeah, I think Zenthos has to stay there just to show you the wizard dichotomy. And then, of course, Grolar. I'm pretty happy with this tier list.
Oh, yeah, so am I.
All right, so that's the session 17 tier list. Anything to add on? Anything to add on, Way?
No, just a very objective, a serious list we have here.
Yes, very objective. You can't be wrong. And this is all the deaths. Man, that's so much death. So much death. We've lost so many characters. Well, I guess we'll see what happens on the next episode of our D&D adventures and see how we recover from the losses of all these party members. But stay tuned, guys. Thank you, Way, for being here.
No problem. It was fun.
All right, guys. I'll catch you later.